All right, welcome back to On the Line, the podcast where Kansas kayak bass fishing takes center stage. I'm Tony Boyden, and with me is my brother and co-host Tim Breakoff Boyden. In today's episode, it's all about the Southeast Kansas Shootout at Bone Creek, Cedar Creek, and Lake Fort Scott, and the competition was fire. Tim?
Yeah. So the first guest, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our champion with 89.5 inches. Coming in hot from the Roadrunner kayak fishing tournament, where the fish was tough, the heat was brutal, and the competition was fierce. One angler rose above the rest like a bass blowing up on a frog at sunrise. Dakota Payne took first place, and he didn't just win, he dominated with precise cast, patient retrieves, and just enough stash to make it memorable. Dakota showed us all how it's done from the seat of a kayak. Whether he's chasing giants at sunrise or picking apart creek channels with a finesse rig, this guy is straight up problem for the leaderboard. Congrats, Dakota. The fish didn't stand a chance. How's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks for the intro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're
Hey,
welcome.
Dakota, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Glad to be on here.
Awesome. Next, with 85.25 inches, breaking the tie with a 19.5-inch largemouth and taking home second place, but first in finesse. Tall, quiet, and packed with fishing knowledge that most of us only dream about. It's Cole Spriggs, your runner-up. While others were flipping, baitcasters, and fighting backlashes, Cole kept it calm, clean, and just one fast trolling motor and a spinning rod. Like always, no flash, no noise, just results. With surgical cast and silent confidence, he worked the water like a chessboard and finished just one move behind the win. Congrats, Cole. Second place never looked so smooth. What's going on?
Cole?
I appreciate it, Tim.
Yep. From the mic to the podium, coming in clutch for third place with also 85.25. Just when he said he was having a rough season on the podcast, the director of the Kansas Kayak Anglers decided to change the script. Todd Seagraves came out swinging, and he did it with an old reliable chatterbait. No excuses, just Todd doing Todd things. With pressure on and the bite stuff, he showed the whole field why he's the one and most dangerous anglers on the water. Director by title, hammer by nature, Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Come for the intros.
All right, next, big baits, big bass, big statement. Ernesto Flores may be a rookie, but he's also already fished like a seasoned hammer with 84.25 inches. He held in a 21.75-inch largemouth to lock down big bass honors and snag fourth place. And he did it with a 9-inch glide bait like he's got something to prove because he does. This is his rookie season, but he's already his second biggest bass win. Some guys chase numbers. Ernesto just swings for giants. If you're not watching him yet, you better start because this rookie doesn't play small. Neither do his fish. Congratulations. Welcome to the show. That was a mouthful.
Hey, Ernesto, how are you doing?
What's up?
Tony,
All right.
back to you.
Welcome, everybody. As always, I'm just going to go through a couple upcoming events. So if you are fishing Missouri, Moyek's got a couple coming up at Stockton Lake. There is a Konza Bass League this Saturday. We've got a couple anglers entered. We'd like to get a few more. So if you haven't entered yet, please do so. I fish Carbondale quite a bit, and it's fun. There's some big bass in there. 19s, 20s if you can get on them. It's from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, July 19th. There's some sunflowers coming up at Lone Star Lake next week, the week after Shawnee Lake, and on August 5th, Carbondale Lake. Also, if you want to chase big bass, Ernesto, you might be interested in this. The Kansas Bass Nation in a week and a half is on July 26th at Kreitzer in Mountain City. Big monsters in there. At least we've seen them in the past. So, Todd, is there anything you'd like to say about that coming up? Why we're talking about it?
Sign up if you're wanting to try to earn some money. It's $100 entry fee, so a little bigger payouts, and yeah, it should be a pretty good time to be on either one of those lakes to catch some good bass. You just have to be you have to have your Bassmaster membership and then be current on your Bass Nation and Kansas Bass Nation dues, which if you're not and are interested in fishing that or the championship in October, you can reach out to me and I can take payment for those and make sure you're listed on the roster.
And the Kansas Bass Nation Championships at Cedar Bluff, and it's a great lake too. And if you get in the top 10%, you can go to the Bassmaster Championship, which I hear is going to be in Chattanooga, Tennessee, somewhere around there.
Tennessee. They haven't announced the lake yet, but I know last time they were there, it was on Chickamauga. So
yeah, so
it would be back there.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to make it down there because that's a tough call because I like Kreitzer and I like Mound City. Both have big bass in them. I've seen them. So also coming up is the next Kansas Kayak Anglers event on August 9th at Milford Lake. Also an opportunity to maybe catch your PB smallmouth. So if you haven't fished Milford before, there's some big smallmouth in there. Some largemouth too, but I think most people go for the smallmouth. At least I know I will be. So yeah, check out all that stuff on Facebook, Kansas Kayak Anglers page, the Kansas Bass Nation page, Sunflower, and also the Cons of Yak Bass League. So, sorry, comments are coming in already. Love it. We can get to that question here in a bit when we get to Cole's strategy and stuff. So I love it. So check us out, check everything out on Facebook. Come out and fish with us. We'd love to have you for any of those events. But yeah, we'll get started asking some interview questions. So for anybody out there that has questions, we appreciate the comments coming in already. If you have questions for any of the anglers, for Tim and I, feel free to ask them. We'll answer them as they come in or when it's appropriate to when we're talking about it. So we want to kind of get to know the anglers. Now we have had, Todd and Ernesto on a little bit here. So we'll just kind of do a round robin. I'll start out with you, Dakota. How long have you been fishing for, and how long have you specifically been kayak fishing?
I've been fishing for as long as I can remember, pretty much. I grew up around Parsons, Kansas. So Big Hill Lake is kind of where I've always fished. I love that lake. I was sad I had to miss the tournament there this year. But so I've just been fishing for basically as long as I can remember. But I got into kayak fishing probably 2017, right when Southeast Kansas Kayak Anglers started. So their first season, I jumped in with that and did that, and then got more serious into it, got a better kayak. And then I fished all over during my high school years from 2017 to 21. I traveled over, did the Bassmaster stuff, did some of the All-American stuff, and then kind of took a couple years off. So that's where I'm at now. And then this was my first tournament in a couple years. So
excellent.
Not too bad way to come back into them, huh?
Yeah.
Right. It's like beginner's luck all over again.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Sounds like you got some experience down there. So, Cole, same question to you. How long you been fishing, and more specifically kayak fishing?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd say I've definitely crested well over the decade. And I'm going to pick on this comment from Jason here because he was an old tournament director a long time ago around Kansas City. And I just remember when you first start out, all you care about is catching 5 fish, right? Can I get 5 fish on the board? And I got so desperate, I picked up these little MEP spinners. You know what I'm talking about, those trout lures, whatever it took.
Oh, yeah.
And
Everybody's curveballs
things like crazy. Yeah, and they work. And so he likes to, give me a little hell for all my use of those MEP spinners. But that shows how long I've been in it and enjoying it. And I think as time has gone on, my family's grown, my area of fishing has shrunk, where I'm staying a lot more local than I had in the past. But just enjoy getting out. It's been my kind of preferred way to get out on the water.
Excellent. Todd, question to you.
I've been fishing all my life. Was primarily a bank angler for most of my life. I think in 2020, I bought my first kayak and, kind of bought a basic one, because I was like, I don't know if I'll really be into it or not. And yeah, from there it just grew and grew. So
Excellent. And Ernesto, how about you? I know you've mentioned it last time you were on, but love to hear it again. Oh, you're muted.
I got
Okay.
a story. I got a story though.
Okay.
Just so I got my Old Town last year, and I was pretty excited because I'd fished like just a paddle kayak and got blown around all over the place. So I'm at Geary, and I'm getting worked over by the fish. I'm not catching that many, and I see Todd there and his brother at the boat ramp, and I knew they were. I knew that they were part of the kayak anglers. Their kayaks look nice enough. So Todd tells me that his brother had like 84 inches or something, and I had like 2 fish all day, and I was like, dude, I don't think I'm ready for this, man. So I spent last year just grinding, I guess, fishing a lot, and then this year decided to go for it and join the club and fish tournaments and stuff out of my kayak. So really been fishing out of my kayak now for like 2 years, but started fishing, I don't know, right after college. So 10 years. Yeah, just been learning. But that's my story. So Todd, thanks, man.
Very nice.
you bet.
Excellent. Love it. I'm glad you had a new story to tell. Always good.
Yes.
Speaking of that, I do want to mention that I do believe, I'm trying to pull it up here, but being the rookie of the year in your first year, this fourth place puts you in first for rookie of the year. So good job on that one. And for everybody else watching it, all the AOI and ROI were updated from last weekend. So if you're interested in looking at that. So all right. So we kind of talked about how long you've been kind of kayak fishing. Did you guys ever we'll come back around to you, Dakota. Did you do any like boat tournaments before you did kayak fishing or anything like that? Or have you always just done kayak tournaments?
Yeah, I did a little bit of like the ABA series. There was one on Stockton Lake in Missouri. So I fished the Stockton ABA series for, I think, a year. And then I did a few. ABA also came to Big Hill Bone Creek, and I did that one a couple times. So yeah, I did a little bit of it. I was always just a co-angler because I was too young to be a boater at that time. But yeah, so I started there a little bit.
I will go to, thank you so much. Sorry. What do you prefer over kayak fishing, kayak tournament fishing, or boat tournament fishing?
Oh, I love kayak fishing. It's more relaxing to me. I don't know exactly why. And I think it's more challenging too. In some ways, I mean, you have advantages over boats, obviously, places you can get and just how close you can be to the fish. Like when you're fishing early spring and they're up shallow on beds and stuff, you could get closer to fish than a boat ever could. But I think the kayak game is more exciting.
Yeah, I've never done boat tournaments, but man, I love kayak tournament fishing. So Jason keeps cracking me up with these comments. But Cole, you're next. So did you ever do any other tournament fishing before you did kayak fishing?
Yeah, so I mean, I've dabbled similar to Dakota, the ABA, Kansas Buddy Bass, some of that stuff, and I'll still occasionally jump into some corporate challenge or benefit tournaments off of a boat. But like Dakota had mentioned, some of my buddies think I'm crazy, but I just love the kayak side of the tournaments. I like that I'm in a more, my area that I'm able to work is much smaller. To me, it's a lot less intimidating. And really, I go out there and compete against myself more than anything. Can I, break down this area, figure it out, is really always the challenge that I look at. And honestly, it's a great group of guys that join those and community within it. So appreciate that and all that. Kudos to Todd and Tim and Tony for the work you guys have been doing this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So you say kayak over a boat tournament? Yeah. We're all a little partial, but still, nonetheless, there's always, people out there like boat tournaments too. So, Todd, what about you? Did you ever fish out of do boat tournaments or anything like that?
No, have never done a boat tournament. I being on the Kansas Bass Nation board of directors, I spend quite a bit of time conversing with boat anglers and Yeah, no, it's kayak all day.
Yeah. You haven't convinced
Boat anglers can be divas.
you haven't convinced them to come to our side yet?
No.
Yeah.
Like, there's always one person that has to ask at our meetings. They're like, how do you not tip out of those things? And
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know.
I tell you, a
not
lot of
that
these
bad.
tournaments, yeah, go ahead, Tank.
Oh, go ahead, Tim.
No, a lot of these boat tournaments, the kayak guys almost pull some of the same weights as the boaters pull out of them. So
I always try to tell the boaters, like, if you guys would just slow down and actually fish an area for more than 3 or 4 casts before taking off, like, you might catch some fish.
Yeah. Ernesto, what about you?
Yeah, it was funny fishing Bone Creek because like I felt where we were fishing was so intimate, you know, like there's trees and just obstacles everywhere. And I've heard a lot of rumblings about Bone Creek and the boat, like people saying that it's hard to fish because of edge and access and whatnot. And it makes sense. You really can't get your boat back in there where I guess where I was fishing, where all you guys were fishing, like it's pretty tough. So, but I fished. Last year I fished a club, just a local club here in Emporia on a boat. And then this year I did the Can USA Bassin with a friend of mine too. It's fun. It's just a different fishing. It is a whole different type of fishing. But I prefer the kayak just because I don't own a boat, but I think maintaining an outboard and keeping it running is kind of cost effective. And everyone always seems to have problems with that. So I like the kayak.
I've always been told the best days of a boat owner are the day they buy it and the day they sell it. So,
Yeah.
all right, thanks. So, just kind of a would you rather question here. Dakota, I'll go to you first. Would you rather fish for smallmouth, largemouth, or spotted bass, or anything else?
Oh man, I really think smallmouth. Like around here, we really don't get that many opportunities. Like as far as Big Hill has smallmouth, so like I grew up fishing there. I said I've caught some good smallmouth out of there, but it's just not like there's not a great population of smallmouth in there. I actually just moved. So I just bought a new house. I was in Pittsburgh for school and moved to Baxter Springs. So there's a creek not far away, Shoal Creek, and it has smallmouth in it. So just this Monday night, I walked down there or drove down there with my fiance, and we waded around, and I caught a few smallmouth in the creek, and I love that. Like I love finding skinny water, smallmouth, like moving water. That's just a blast. I love that.
I mean, I might have to put that on my list. That sounds like a lot of fun. Any launch spots down there for kayaks?
Any what? Sorry.
Any launch places down there easily to launch a kayak?
I believe you can float it. Like so, I know you can float it in Missouri. The stretch here in Kansas, I don't know about as far as if you could launch and float. So it connects to the Spring River, which also runs right here in Baxter. And so I'm kind of exploring and figuring it all out myself right now. So I haven't found out for sure.
Excuse me, a little hideaway down there in that part of Kansas.
Yep.
All right, Cole, what about you? I bet I know the answer to this.
I was going to say, you want to answer this one for me, Tony?
I probably could.
Smallmouth all day, and I think to Dakota's point, it's been several years since I've been on that creek/river, but it was navigable to an extent. There were a few areas that were closed out through private land, but it definitely holds smallmouth. It's one of the few moving water smallmouth streams in the state to look at. But again, if you're already there, you're also close to a whole bunch of stuff in Missouri and Arkansas as well. So lucky you, Dakota. But yeah, smallmouth. We'll see if that tune ever changes, but I don't imagine it will.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's gonna get roasted, I think.
Oh man, need to watch our podcast a little bit more often. I love these comments. Todd, what about you?
And I don't know. I'm really torn. Like I love catching smallmouth, but I prefer fishing like vegetation and a lot of the ways that are more prone to catching largemouth. So I love frog fishing, chatterbait, stuff like that. And there's not a whole lot of smallmouth fisheries in Kansas where the smallmouth are hanging out in habitat like that. So I while I love the fight that a smallmouth gives, I'm going to have to say large.
Nice.
Excellent. I've caught a few in vegetation like that, but big ones too. So it's been for sure it was a largemouth and it ended up being a smallmouth, and it's just like, what? Oh, all right, I'll take it. Ernesto, what about you? Oh, I got added to stage. Hold on a second. There we go.
I was working at Wilson from 2015 to 2019, and that was a great time after it filled up to be out there fishing for both. I used to love fishing for smallmouth out there just because you didn't really get it. Where else are you going to catch them? But lately, I've been having a lot of fun fishing for largemouth. I don't know if they're gonna eat my glide bait, man. It's gonna be fun. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, and those things you can just throw at some piece of structure, and most of the time you just watch your bait and it just will disappear, and that's pretty cool. Like, because the smallmouth, I've seen 5-pounders, but man, they haven't been nice to me lately. So the largemouth have. So right now, largemouth. Wish we had more spots though.
Yeah, I'd love to see some more smallmouth down the Mineland Wildlife area. Some of those bigger pits. I think they do well there, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think? Which I think I know the answer to this one too, but
It's a tough one, but no, it's smallmouth all day.
yeah.
What about you, Jones?
I'd say I love to fish for smallmouth, but when you're getting a good largemouth bite, it's hard to beat. So I did a little bit of fishing last night and caught some nice ones, and no smallmouth, just largemouth, and it was a lot of fun. So it's tough. So all right, I bet we know the answer to this for Ernesto, but we'll start with Dakota. What's the biggest bass you've ever caught in a tournament, Dakota?
Oh man, a tournament. I'm gonna guess. I can probably look at my Tourney X and find out. I think 21 3/4.
Nice.
I think. I'll have to pull it up, Jack, but I'm pretty sure it was 21 3/4, and I'm gonna guess it was either at the Minelands or at Winfield. I forget the name of the lake. Timber Creek, maybe in Winfield.
Timber Creek.
I love that lake. But I'll have to look. I'll have to come back to me because I'm not 100% sure, but I think 21 3/4.
All right. And Cole.
So I've had one tournament many years ago. I say that maybe 3 or 4 years ago that I actually caught 2 22s in one tournament. Wow. I've not been able to repeat that with or without a tournament. And I believe smallmouth, I know it was like 21 something. It was a Melbourne tournament a few years ago as well. So sometimes you just get lucky.
Yeah, I know I do all the time. Todd, what about you? And thanks, Jason, for all the comments. We really appreciate them.
Yep.
I think mine in a tournament is probably right at 20 inches that I can think of. Maybe I fished a tournament down in Texas last year, and I think I caught like a 20.75. So that's probably my biggest in a tournament.
Was it 20 a largemouth or a smallmouth?
It would have been a largemouth.
Ernesto, what about you? Is it this one last weekend?
Yeah, that was it. That was her.
Yeah. The beast.
Yep. Yeah.
So, all right.
Great video, by the way.
Thanks. That was awesome, man. I tried to keep it low key. I was like, man, I don't want to look like a fool, but inside I was yelling. Like
You didn't even use a net. You just went down and lifted it. I was impressed.
Dude, it was hooked really good. Like I struggled for like 3 minutes to get the hook out of its mouth because it was in it, and I saw it too. And then I ordered a net off Amazon just because I'm starting out here, and it's way too small. So just have to get a bigger net at that point. Just have to lip it,
I didn't see the video. Do you have a channel or something I missed?
I I put it everywhere, man. I put it on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
I'll have to go look at that. I don't get on there as much as I should, so I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
I seen
Tony,
the
what
picture of it, but I didn't see the video. So
Tony, what about yourself? What's your biggest bass in smallmouth, largemouth in the tournament?
So last year at one of the sunflowers, I got at Perry a 20, was it 21.25?
Yeah.
I was like right at 6 pounds. And then a week later, I was at Clinton doing a sunflower, and I got a 20-inch smallmouth. And Tim was pretty upset about it when I showed the picture. Like that's when I give him a hard time because he's like, nobody's that lucky. So,
See, after Perry, I was like, "There's no way you're gonna catch another big one." And the next week, he proved me wrong.
yeah, I proved him wrong again.
20.
What about you, Tim?
I think it was sunflower last year. Lake Shawnee, I caught basically a 20-inch smallie, and the next sunflower, I caught a 21.25 largemouth.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, Tim, I'll hand it over to you for some tournament questions.
All right, so Dakota, we'll start with you. What made you pick your specific lake for the shootout? Is there a reason behind your madness?
Oh man, I really like all three of the lakes that were chosen. I never thought I would end up at Cedar Creek, so I kind of decided last minute to fish it. So like kind of like Tuesday, Wednesday of that week, and so I started thinking between Fort Scott and Bone Creek, and talking a lot with so another guy who fished tournament, Trevor Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I work with him. We sit in the same office every day. So he was trying to figure out where he was going to go. I was trying to figure out where I was going to go. And honestly, the main thing that kept me off Fort Scott is I know that last year when it got really, really dry, I think the water got very, very low there. And I wasn't sure how that affected the fishing because I haven't been out for a couple of years to that lake at all. And Bone Creek as well. I've mostly just fished the pits for the last couple of years, but so that kind of steered me away from Fort Scott. I was hoping Bone Creek wouldn't have as much pressure as it did. And then it happened there was a boat tournament. So just kind of showed up in the morning and was just going to deal with that. But I'm glad I went where I did. And so it worked out.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was honestly, I agree that all three lakes had the potential, in my opinion. I really thought Fort Scott had a high likelihood if someone could find a solid 5-fish bag out of there. And honestly, I picked Bone Creek because I hadn't been there in probably 6 years. And I just think it's a cool lake. And I thought, well, I'm going to go have fun. It's a cool lake. And I know that it may have pressure, but it's as a small lake, it fishes big just because there's structure and grass lines, not just along the shoreline in that lake. So that was my main reason for going there was nothing more than I just wanted to.
Nice. Did anybody see the giant river otters that live there? Those things are crazy. They look like the size of a lab. I was fishing, I think, the championship when Tim won it, Tim Seagraves. And I was pre-fishing, and I'm just going back in this cove, and this giant head pops out of the water, and I'm like, what is that? Because I knew the water was about 3 foot deep, and it was still about 2 foot above the water. And so I was like, there's no way that's an otter. It's too big. So I looked it up, and it said, first thing on YouTube, giant river otter family at Bone Creek, and they get like 5 or 6 foot tall. So they will freak you out a little bit when you see those. But anyway, Todd?
I chose Bone Creek, and mostly because I think I'd fished it 3 times before, and last year we had a KBN tournament there that was in the summer, and I did pretty decent there. I mean, didn't catch a lot of fish, but caught quality ones. And I don't know. I think Fort Scott can be really good, like early season lake, but with a lot of kind of deeper water, I think a lot of the bass kind of move out in the summer, which is not my style of fishing. So I just went kind of off history and decided on Bone.
Nice. Ernesto?
I have never fished any of those lakes or been on them. So I went down there Friday with my buddy Austin. We pre-fished Cedar Creek, caught 12 fish in 2 hours, but they weren't big. And then we loaded up and went to Bone Creek, and I caught like an 18-inch fish off of 7-inch glide bait, and that was it. Basically, it came out and hit it out of the water. and we were really kind of undecided on where to fish. We camped together, we talked about it, and uh, yeah, honestly, it was kind of just a last minute decision. Like the bigger fish came from Bone Creek during pre fishing, basically, so we just settled on there.
Very
Yeah.
nice. All right, Dakota, back to you. What was your game plan going into the tournament?
Oh man, honestly I expected it to rain. I didn't watch the weather probably as well as I should have. So I came in with a lot of moving baits on, uh, and it actually ended up working out. So I showed up to the ramp that morning, and like I said, a little bit out of practice because it's been a couple years. So I go to rig my kayak and start kind of thinking through the day, realizing it's not going to rain. I'm like, okay, so do I have a Ned rig on? Yeah. And then I'm looking for my soft plastics. I'm like, I forgot my entire soft plastics box. So I had nothing except for what was in the dry totes in my kayak, which was like a few packages of flipping baits and some uh, a couple trailers, and then like my spinner bait box. So I had like nothing soft plastic wise. So I decided I was going to be throwing moving baits, and got lucky to catch a few good ones on top water early. So I didn't have to rely on fish later in the day, even though I got lucked into some. But so yeah, my game plan was moving baits, and I kind of stuck to it. Covered a lot of water, made a lot of casts, and I think I just put it in front of enough fish that got some good ones to bite.
Nice. All right, Cole.
I was going in pretty blind on this one, and so the game plan that I had was, don't go too crazy in the morning and just try to figure out what depth the fish wanted to be at, because they were both grass and timber from 6 inches of water out to 20 foot deep. And so I wasted a lot of time in the morning kind of honing in on where the majority of them wanted to be. That helped me just kind of keep progressing, culling out fish throughout the day, and turned out for where I was at that they weren't really as oriented to the grass later in the day as I wanted them to be, but they had definitely started hugging the timber. And to the point about boats, I had figured out pretty quick that they liked that 4 to 6 foot range is where they were hanging. They would still move up to feed, but I didn't get bit when I ran a traditional approach. I had to get around the backside of the timber and take the baits towards the bank to kind of up my chances.
Okay. Very nice. So kind of throwing up to the bank behind the timber, bringing it forward.
Yeah, kind of throwing towards the main lake and bringing it and watching. Once the wind picked up, it helped a little bit too.
Gotcha.
Following that direction.
Okay. Nice. Todd?
As usual, I brought way more rods than I should have, but yeah, I started out kind of fishing like I did last year, throwing a frog and a chatterbait, and I don't know if it was just I just wasn't paying attention to where I was throwing, but I went 3.5 hours before I caught my first fish, and had many calamities happen throughout the morning. But I had switched over to finesse. I was throwing, a shaky head, a Ned rig, whatever I could, and still wasn't getting any bites. And then eventually I was about to call it a day. I was about to message you guys and say, I'm bringing trophies and I'm heading home. And then I talked myself out of it. And eventually I was just like, well, if I'm not going to catch anything, I'd rather, chuck and wind a chatterbait than, drag a shaky head down the bank. And I pulled my chatterbait back out, and first cast, after not using it for probably over an hour, I caught my first fish, and that's what I pretty much threw the rest of the day. And just, I think I had one fish blow up on a frog, which I missed the hook set, but otherwise it was just throwing a chatterbait was the only thing I could get bit on. And it was, I caught 5 fish all day and caught my 5th fish probably 20 minutes before the tournament ended. So it was definitely a grind to get a limit for me.
But when it's your time for sure. Did you remember that one podcast? I think it was with Kevin Kerr, where he was going to go home. I think it was Big Hill. And then like 11 o'clock, it just lights out. I think he got like 95 inches or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's one of those days where you're just like, I'm ready to go home. And then that happens. So But Ernesto?
I launched. I took the first cove to the left, and I have been trying to work on topwater fishing all year. I have not had any luck, man. But if there's anything that I'm gonna throw, it's gonna be a frog. And I just there's so much vegetation, there's so much milfoil, so you just got to get it in the right spot. So I caught my first 3 fish on a frog, uh, basically like within 10 minutes, right in the morning. And then I was like, well, if they're gonna eat a frog and it's clear enough water, I'm gonna throw around this. I threw a 7-inch Nessie, caught, missed one, uh, kept throwing it, hooked my 4th fish. And then at that point, I was just going for, "Nah, I'm just gonna swing for the fences." So then I was like, well, if they're gonna eat the 7-inch, like, why wouldn't I throw the 9-inch? So that's,
Why not?
well, I just tied it on. I got to the boat ramp, wrapped around that first kind of point. It's open to the west side of the lake. I think I'm more in or dry, but it's more open. So I cast to the shore, and then I just made a miracle cast out to the deeper trees, and that was it. That's how I caught my fish. So I had 84 and a half by 7:32 in the morning. And then I was like, okay, we just need to catch something bigger than a 14 to Cole, man. And then I spent the next 6 hours grinding for a bite. And then I did end up catching another fish with like Todd said, like 20 minutes left to go. There was like a bridge with some milfoil, and I bought like a new eagle eye, so I had my live scope and I could see under that tree or under the bridge where those road signs were that there were fish hanging out. And then there was also access to like deeper water. So I remembered those fish from earlier, and I went back there later in the day and caught another one, but it didn't really help me. It was like 13 and a half, but I was happy just to get a bite towards the end of the day because I had grinded for 6 hours trying to coal. I fished, I went, I think one thing I've learned from this last tournament is I like to fish a lot of water, and instead of like hunkering down where fish are biting, I like to go exploring. So I made my way all the way down to like boater lanes, trying to fish the pads and all those like grass flats. And I couldn't get bit. I threw the kitchen sink too. But I was lucky enough to stumble onto some fish early in the morning. That helped.
Very nice. Throwing that Ford Pinto out there, the bait the size of a Ford Pinto, probably. Those bass can see that baby from a mile away.
I have a lot of confidence in that bait. That bait has been
Yeah,
good for me this year.
very nice. Well, Ryan Brook, I seen he made a comment as well about throwing a Ned rig, but you can borrow one of his pink spinner baits from him, I think. And
Yeah. Ryan's giving me a hard time because he taught me how to throw a Ned rig.
oh yeah,
Yeah, no, Ryan and Mikey Marvel, that's who that second comment's from. Those guys we've got a kind of a group of guys from the Southeast Kansas group that we talk all the time, give each other a hard time.
Yeah.
And those guys are part of that group. But yeah, Ryan, I don't know where Ryan was at this tournament. We tried to get him to show up and he wouldn't do it. So I guess he knew it wasn't worth the drive.
Was he scared? Do you think? You think he was a little scared?
He might have been. But Mikey showed up and
I saw
was
that.
there for it. So, but
I'm curious if Mike threw a black and blue power worm for this one.
I don't know. I don't know.
You have quite the fan club, Dakota.
I was happy the target was on Cole's back earlier because I figured these guys would show up eventually. And
I'm enjoying the switch. Yeah.
I was enjoying the piece there for a little bit. I knew they would show up. And Ryan, I did not catch a single fish on a Guggen bait this tournament. I tried very hard. I didn't catch a single fish on a Texas rig. I couldn't do it.
Very nice. So, Dakota, did you get a chance to pre-fish? And did the storm change anything for you as far as your plans go at all?
I did not get to pre-fish at all that Friday. I had plans previously, so I just went about my normal evening and then got home at like 9:30, 10 o'clock and rigged everything up and then got a couple hours of sleep and headed out in the morning.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very nice.
How long
Cole?
a drive is that for you? About an hour and a half?
Yeah, not that bad. It was only like an hour to Bone Creek. It was like an hour and a half up to Fort Scott, but
okay,
cool.
Very nice. Cole, did you have time to pre-fish? And
Very little. I like to do my overnighters or whatever, so I ended up staying in. And you guys are probably going to get the name fast as me. There's another little lake about 15 minutes away that has camping.
Crawford.
Crawford. Stayed there, but I had about an hour to, kind of scan around. Didn't catch anything. So I can't tell you. It can only go up from there when you don't catch anything. But there was a pretty good little storm that passed that evening through that area. But I felt a little better knowing it wasn't going to hit us in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty big storm coming in there. Todd?
No pre-fishing at all. And I fully expected it to be cloudy and raining a tournament day. So I was, expecting low light and to be throwing moving baits all day, and kind of expected the bite to be a little better than it was, but just kind of went with it, I guess.
Very nice. Ernesto?
I kept an eye on the weather like a week out and saw that it was supposed to storm, and I bought a rain jacket and a rain suit because I was fully anticipating it to rain and be stormy, like Big Hill, like when we launched that Big Hill.
Yeah,
I was expecting that at some point. I checked the weather. I stayed at Crawford too, and got to watch that front come in. That was pretty nasty. Rain dumped a lot, lightning. But then I don't know. I have a pretty good weather app, and I saw that was supposed to be low winds in the morning, and I was like, well, that means frog, and you don't have to battle the wind if you're gonna go fish a 500-acre lake at Bone Creek in the trees. So that was it.
Perfect. Well, the next intro, I'm going to have Guggen Bates in Dakota if he's in. So I'll make sure to make something up about that, apparently. So, do they make Guggen Bates anymore? Did they? I think they.
Oh, they do. They do, yeah. And even if they don't, I have enough to last for a while. But no, I do. I like. There's two baits they make that I really like, and these guys, I've won a few tournaments using them. The Bandito bug and
Yes, sir.
Scott Martin's favorite, the Bandito bug.
There's some controversy there. I'm not sure what Scott's doing now, if he's fishing it anymore or what. So
he does, I think, just pretty much. I think he's going to enter a tournament next year, seen somewhere.
Yeah, I saw he did a video the other day where he teased like he was going to fish another tournament, and he was fishing for carp. So, but
So Dakota, how was the bite throughout the day? Did it feel dialed in, or was it kind of a grind? Did you?
Oh, it was. I tore apart the channel cap.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I don't think I had a bass bite from 10 to 1 o'clock, probably.
Oh wow!
And between that, in that last hour, I caught 2 fish that cold for me. I caught 2 that were. All right, so I think at that point, I caught a 16 and then like a 17 and a half or whatever my other one was. No, I caught one of the 18s that cold. I started throwing a crankbait. I hadn't done it all day. Pulled up to the fishing berm there. There's like a fish feeder and a fishing berm. Yeah. And started throwing a DT8 crankbait and bouncing it off the rocks there, and caught one like 3 casts in. So then I basically just covered as much bank with rock as I could find, just kind of parallel on the bank in about 8 to 10 foot of water to where I just barely make bottom contact, and peeled off a couple more. So the bite really was tough. There were long periods with no bites after the morning got over, but it was the right fish. So
nice. Cole?
Yeah, with Dakota on that, I felt like it was a grind. It wasn't like there was a hot moment, but it only picked up for me. And I don't think any of my 5 that I scored, I think those all happened after 10 o'clock for me. And I know my biggest was around 1 o'clock. So I didn't do well during that morning kind of window. But I just had found that, and I don't know if it's because the wind picked up a little bit. But it was certainly one of those later in the tournament opportunities. So
Very nice. Todd?
Yeah, I mean, super slow for me. So I started out where I had caught some fish last year, and just throwing everything, nothing. Ended up passing Ernesto as he was catching a fish, and I was like, okay, well, they're biting. I'm just not doing something right. And then moved back kind of to the initial arm I started in, and was on kind of on the other side. And then I watched Ernesto catch that 21.75, which was right where I started at, where I was first throwing everything in the kitchen sink. And so I was just like looking over, and I was, at that point, that was like my first moment of dejection during the day. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And and then I ended up getting a tree stump in my scupper plug, and was stuck for probably about 45 minutes dealing with that. And then
were you able to get somebody to help you out, Todd?
Yeah. So after you ignored my text and calls, no, look, I was like trying to psych myself up to jump in. I was in like 10 or 11 feet of water, but there were stumps all around me that I could see. And I'm just like, what's the chance I'm going to impale myself on one of these? And so as I was trying to psych myself up, a boat came by, and I was able to just jump on their boat real quick. And just me getting off my kayak was enough to lift it off the stump. But that was my first time having a stump actually go in the scupper plug. I mean, I've gotten myself stuck pretty good before. In fact, I had probably spent 10 minutes getting off of a stump right before I got that one in the scupper plug. So it was just one of those mornings. And then right after I got off of that, probably within 20 minutes, I nailed my transducer against a stump and broke the mount for that. And so that was just,
Jeez.
So the morning was just like, it just kind of went to hell. But I caught my first fish at around 9:30. And so that kind of got my mind back into it. But then, I kept fishing. I was on the south bank of the lake at that point, and kept fishing over there for a while, and no more bites. And then eventually I crossed the lake, and there's this one point, and the lake was quite a bit different this year. Last year, with the water being a little lower, there were just mats coming out, way out into the lake. So I was doing a lot of frogging last year, but I went up on that point and just started throwing my chatterbait shallow. And like first cast, I hooked a small one, and it got off, and it was just, kind of another like, oh great, that's how the rest of the day is going to go. And then next cast I hooked, I think it was like a 17.5. And then just sitting in the same area, like 2 casts later, I caught an 18.75. And, so it picked up a little bit, but I think it was more just the area. There were just some bass loaded up on this flat. And then I left there after a while, and, probably went, another hour before catching one, and then probably another 2 hours until I caught my last one. So it was definitely a grind. And
yeah, it sounds like a 5 fish, and you got them all in. So
yeah,
I mean, Ernesto,
It was a grind, except for like the first hour and a half. But I'm glad you stuck through it, Todd. You had a hell of a day, man.
yeah, for sure. So Dakota, they're still making fun of you over here, but
Oh gosh, yeah.
he's like, who throws a crankbait?
I think a lot of people at Bowman Creek. Actually, I think it's well known. It just so happened that I was not trying it. But anyways, to Todd's point, get stuck on a stump like that. I had that happen to me once. One of our other group, kind of our group members, his name's Travis, and he's kind of been done the SEKKA stuff with us for a while. And anyways, I was stuck on a stump at a pit one night. I was fishing a monthly, and he was also in it, but we were out, and it's right by his house, and I was stuck on a stump pretty bad, and I did not want to jump in. Like, the water is kind of nasty in the pit I was at. It's just outside of Pittsburgh, and it's like where parts of Pittsburgh can be rough, and so this pit is like where, I don't know, bad things go down at this pit. I didn't want to get in the water, and I was stuck, and I basically sat there for like an hour and a half just on the stump, just fishing, because Travis said he would come get me later. Showed up and helped me out. So these guys are making fun of me. Travis may be watching. He's he's on my good side right now. These other
Is
guys
that
not so
Travis Fuller or which Travis is that?
Travis Hinspeeder is his last
Okay.
name.
Okay.
So
Oh yeah. I
yeah,
know who you're talking about. He's the pit master down there.
yeah, oh yeah. Him and Mikey and Ryan and Trevor, all those guys, dangerous at the pits.
Yeah, they are. I see
Yeah.
their numbers and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So did you have a magic bait that got it done? Any brands, colors that you want to give out? If not, that's fine. Sneaky things that you use or you're willing to share?
Honestly, that day, I would have loved to have catch more fish on the swim jig because I tried to throw it. I love fishing the swim jig. It didn't really do it. That Rapala DT8 was really got me my best fish, and I wish I would have thrown it longer. But yeah, and it was just shoot. I can't even remember the color now, but is basically just a kind of a chartreuse shad color.
Very nice. I know that they said like a Rapala DT10. It was a while ago, but has caught more 10-pound bass than pretty much. Well, that's before glide baits, but
Yeah.
than any other bait. So I mean, they work.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Awesome. Anything else you want to share as far as baits? Or
I mean, I really didn't catch them that good on anything. I probably had 7 or 8 largemouth bites, and obviously, well, I probably caught 7 or 8 largemouth, and then so turned out I caught 5 early. Probably had 84 and a quarter, I think was what I added up the first time I added up my fish, and that was probably close to 830, and then just got those 2 culls late in the day. So it was a long time between culling, long time between bites, except for channel cat. And I think if I caught another channel cat, I was going to just cut the line and let it go. I hate catching catfish in tournaments. They're so slimy, and I didn't want to get them in my kayak because they were good sized channel cat too. So I mean, one of them just absolutely shredded one of my jackhammer chatterbaits. So I've got a vengeance for channel cat right now.
all right, Cole.
Yeah, had kind of indicated that the main trick I think was the approach angle for flipping, just to kind of vary it from some of the pressure they've been seeing from folks that have been out there. But the big difference was one of the things I did is I ended up cutting weight off and going weightless, which is kind of a really weird technique to be pitching, a jig essentially weightless creature bait. But that seemed to help me the most. It just sucks and it takes a lot of patience, and you're not covering much water when you're doing it. So, and I was throwing it in a kind of a green pumpkin color.
Were you throwing on a spinning rod?
I did a little bit. Throw most of it on a been throwing a bait caster for some of it as well. Just kind of depended on my line. Windier it got, the more confident I got in upping the size of the line. But it was a lot of bait caster, which is everyone loses fish in the tournament, but I certainly had some that I'm kicking myself for because let them get into trees, let them get into things I couldn't get them back out of. So,
All right, very nice. Todd?
All mine were on a jackhammer.
Every one of them.
Yep. Yeah. Beehive Delight color. That's kind of my go-to.
What color is that?
It's called Beehive Delight. It's kind of a green pumpkin, white, and chartreuse. And then Missile Baits has a spunk shad trailer that matches up perfect with it. It's kind of the same 3 colors, and
nice.
Just kind of my go-to if the water is not completely dirty. So,
all right, Ernesto.
What do you want me to say, man?
Kind of already told us.
Glide bait. Glide bait.
Yeah. Just I don't know. I throw the first one I ever bought actually was like a blue and white, and it just looks horrible, dude. It's a horrible color. Like I don't know why they made it, but it caught fish.
Yeah.
And then I actually bought those glide baits to fish bone, or not bone, Big Hill.
Oh, okay.
That's what I wanted to do at Big Hill, but I had just gotten my live scope, and I was like, man, I want to go minnow these fish or whatever the pros are doing, and I didn't do so well. But glide bait, man.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys fish the lily pads at Bone Creek?
I tried to a little bit. I threw a frog over them, a chatterbait through them, and never got bit.
Yeah, I got desperate midday. I was punching lily pads for like an hour and a half. I don't.
No fish, nothing caught off of them.
Not even no. Threw a swim jig through him. Tried to punch him. I mean, I had like a half-ounce weight on, and I think Trevor's playing softball tonight. But Trevor would be making fun of me because he loves to punch. Like he's punching mats all day. I told him I had a half-ounce on, and he just kind of scoffed at me because I think he probably had like 3/4 ounce on already. He likes to punch, so he'd probably make fun of me. But I tried it, and it did not go well.
I am not good with a punch rig. I try 1 ounce ones, and I suck. I absolutely suck at them. I went to Fort Scott, and I was using a shaky head, and I was throwing it all the way in the back of the grass or the little bushes, whatever they are. And that's the only way I found. I found 30 fish, but they just were not the right size there. So I lost 3 big ones on a frog, and that was pretty demoralizing. And then I had a 20-incher follow my bait out. I was just throwing a black and blue crawl, and I was just throwing it in and reeling it back fast, and had a 20-incher twice. So I seen Daniel Maffei. I was like, hey, go to that dock right there. You're a better fisherman. See if you can catch him. So I said, there's a 20-incher under there. So yeah,
Daniel's quite an angler. So
yeah,
he's beat me his fair share of times, I think.
Yeah, he's pretty good, especially there. I think he had a 98-inch limit there one time a couple years back.
I couldn't remember if it was 96. It was big. It was our club record.
I think it was 98.75 if I remember right.
Might have been it, yeah.
That's a good day.
He's had some showings. Like he did pretty well, I think, at Chickamauga. Maybe Fork. I don't know. It was a Bassmaster event.
He did. He had a second place at 10 killer.
Grand.
Grand. Yeah, Grand. Not 10.
Nah, that's what it was.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, good guy though. Like Daniel a lot.
Yeah. Well, Dakota, any funny, crazy stories on the water? Lost gear, close calls, wild catches? You don't have to be at this tournament. Just funny story maybe that you have that stands out in your head.
Man, this time I broke a spinning rod, which was my sign from Ryan from afar to not throw the Ned rig. I took about 2 casts with it, hung it up in a tree, stuck the tip of the rod down there to, kind of push it off, grab the line, and I pulled the rod back up and there was no top half on it. So put down the Ned rig and went back to crankbait.
Very nice. Cole?
I don't think I had any wild happenings. I'll have to give the boat tournament that was going on. The few guys that I passed pretty close were super nice. They'd shut their engines off, talk to you. And I cracked up because as I'm working through the timber in one spot, he fires up to go out in a nice way, and he just rides right up on a stump in that moment, and you see him rock, and they drop it off of the stump, and the guy looks at me and he goes, "Well, it's a good thing it's not fiberglass." It is. It's a pretty sparkly Ranger that he did that with. So I got a good chuckle out of that. At least appreciated that if there's multiple tournaments, those guys seemed pretty solid to me and pretty, worked well and gave each other space. So kudos to them.
Very nice. I found if you're nice to the boaters too, like I was at Cedar Bluffs and the guy come blowing in on me. And there was 2 guys fishing, and I had a horrible tournament there. And they started throwing a buzzbait, and I had not thrown a buzzbait. And they just started one fish after another. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I reached back to get my buzzbait box out. I left it in the truck. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like digging through there, and I end up getting a little topwater, little lure, like this big little popper. And I end up catching like 14 or 15 fish on that little topwater. So you be nice to them because they might be throwing something. You're like, oh crap, I didn't even think about that. And you see them throwing it, and bam. So yeah. That's pretty
a boater came up on Cedar Creek. And I had been throwing a kind of a Texas red crawl, blue crawl. And I was like, he's like, having any luck? And I was like, catching a few. And I was like, yourself? He goes, I caught some 3 and 4 pounders on earlier right up the bank, and I was like, that was where I was just fishing, and I see his rod swinging around and his baits. It's a black and blue crawl, Texas rig crawl, and I'm like, really? I guess this is the wrong brand. They're kind of they kind of like their brands there apparently.
Todd, sorry.
I already shared mine, so that was enough for one day.
Yeah. Ernesto?
I don't have anything. But shout out Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting those posts.
Yeah. Dude, I wanted to hang out after the award ceremony, but I was cooking in that parking lot. Like,
Yeah.
shout out to them, but maybe next year they can upgrade us to the suites or something, you know?
Put some straw bales around it with the tent.
Yeah, a little bit, something nice for us, but
I think
yeah.
sometimes we're lucky just to get a spot, right? Like
I know.
parking lots. I should have brought my tent. I didn't even think about it. So
It was
like one of those pop-up tents, everybody had been standing underneath a 10x10 tent.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nah, it's a great place. Just great to meet up and stuff after. I almost dropped the cuss word.
You learn a lot.
Yeah, it's great to meet up afterwards, and shout out Tractor Supply for letting us meet in their parking lot.
Yeah.
So you see Mike Marvel posting all this stuff in the comments, but if you ever go back and watch his video when he won, it was one of the funniest damn videos you'll ever watch in your life.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
big chain around his neck and the.
I asked him to borrow that chain.
Did you really?
I did. I just
I
haven't
was
seen him
laughing my
since.
head off. I was
Yeah.
laughing. He's a natural.
Oh, was that him? I remember that
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
That was like one of the first when I first started getting into kayak fishing.
It was
with
great.
AKA.
So Tony, go ahead.
That was mine lands. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job.
All right. So I didn't pre-ask you this question, just like some of you didn't get a pre-fish. So I got what we like to call off the hook. So it's an off the hook question, random question. Sometimes it's a would you rather or something like that. But this question, we'll start with Dakota. If you could swap scores with any Kansas kayak angler at the next tournament, let's say Milford, who would it be and why? And you don't know how you're going to do and you don't know how they're going to do.
Oh man, I don't know Milford, so I've never fished there. What's it like?
Smallmouth.
Smallmouth. Clayton. Can I say Clayton?
Yeah, you can.
Wow.
You can only use him once, though. Everybody,
Yeah.
He fishes it a lot there, so that's not a bad choice.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was his, and I think I fished against him at Melbourne, maybe, and he caught some good smallmouth at Melbourne, I think, or maybe Wilson too. I can't remember, but yeah. So I think I just switched with Clayton up there.
Neil's the Milford master up there with Clayton. Cole, what about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll pick on Neil because he just jumped on the chat. We can trade all day there. He knows that lake pretty well.
All right, Todd, what about you?
I was gonna say Neil, but he probably won't sign up. So I don't know, man. I would say I'd probably say Cole, honestly.
Yeah, Neil gets scared easy.
Yeah, he won't come.
Cole will just be dropping a hair jig all day and in one spot, waiting for each individual.
You might see me with a fly fishing reel, just really mix it up.
No, Mep spinner.
That's right.
Glad to see you made it on, Neil, and you didn't forget this time. Ernesto, you got anybody being a rookie this year? Anybody?
I don't know anybody well enough yet, but anybody that does better than me, I guess.
Not a lot of people. You've been doing pretty good this year.
You've been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I might switch with you.
I can tell you what, man. You know what I'm going to be throwing.
Yeah. Tim, what about you? Who might you switch?
Oh, that guy down there in the corner named Cole. He's a hell of a hammer there on smallmouth. So he'll be up at the top of the leaderboard. And I think a little sneaky one might be Derek Roberts. Might be up there. He knows some spots out there as well.
I'm going to pick Derek after what I seen last year. So
I'm going to switch my answer and say Tim Boyden because I can actually keep my fish hooked. So if I can catch all the 5-pounders that bite his bait, then I'll be doing pretty good.
Apparently, you watched my channel where I've missed so many of them. I even post them on there.
No, I go strictly off your stories.
Should be the Miss State dude.
Yeah, that's what I got the GoPro for.
Yeah. At least you get him on camera now. So
Hey, Neil. Last night, John in our group caught a 20-inch smallmouth, almost 5-pounder at Perry. So it was pretty nice for him. Pretty nice night. I caught a 30-pound blue that I lost.
John might be watching. It's pretty awesome. I saw that fish, man. That was amazing. The smile on your face said it all with that 20-incher.
Yeah.
August is a big smallie. Sounds like we chose wisely.
Heck yeah.
So, all right. So, follow-up question, Vegas style. If you could bet, if you got $1,000 to bet on the winner of Milford, would you choose the same people that you already picked? Any takers? Dakota?
I think I'd have to. Like I said, I've never fished there, and I don't think I'll get to this year either. That's the weekend of my bachelor party, so I might have to miss it. But I do want to go up there. Like location wise, where's that at? I guess
Junction City area.
Junction City, Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a terrible drive from here. But yeah, I look forward to fishing in the future. But yeah, I'd bet on Clayton. Might as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Cole, what about you? You gonna bet on yourself?
It's there's so many good folks out there. I quit guessing a long time ago because you don't know who's gonna take off on it. But I will second what Neil said on there, that I have found to catch good numbers of big smallmouth, it's hard to beat August and September. And knowing we're getting pretty close to that for Milford, and you'll see it on Perry, I think you guys did time it pretty well for that.
Excellent.
So I really couldn't even. I wouldn't put $1,000 down because there's too many guys that are going to go, take off on it. But maybe I'll put it on Ernesto if all 5 can be on the glide bait.
Yeah. State record, baby. State record.
Dude, there's some good largemouth in there, though. There is. There's some giants. There's some mutants.
Yeah. Some 8-pounders in there, and that's where the state record smallmouth came out of. So
I saw a 19-inch, 5.6-pound largemouth there this year. 19 inches.
Yep.
Nice. You can tell me later.
That would suck for a kayak tournament, man. Like 5.5 pounder, and it's only 19.
Was that a whip or was that you caught it?
I saw it actually electrofishing.
Oh, really?
But yeah.
Just to let everybody know, he doesn't do that regularly. He actually works for the Kansas Department.
Yeah, it's not on the front of his kayak.
No, that's not safe.
Todd, who'd you say you bet on?
I'd probably have to say Clayton.
Yeah. Don't forget about Jay.
Yeah, well, it depends how many largemouth are in that lake, because I know Jay doesn't purpose. Jay hates targeting smallmouth. I mean, he caught like a 21.5 at El Dorado, but that's not his forte. So I'd have to say Clayton.
Who you putting your money on, Tim?
Same guy, Cole.
Yeah.
Smallmouth killer.
I'm gonna do like I've done so many times incorrectly. I'll bet on myself. Because I get lucky sometimes when it comes to smallmouth.
Not at Milford, you don't.
I'm betting on you, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm betting on you.
I'm buying dinner if I win.
Calling it.
For you, Ernesto, just for that.
Calling it.
Todd, what'd you say? You're on mute.
Oh, I'm gonna bet against you.
All right.
Bet $1,000 that you don't finish in the top 30.
Sometimes that's just what I need to get myself out there. So I appreciate that.
Prove me
That's all
wrong.
you
need.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if Neil's still listening, what he thinks who's going to win the Milford tournament.
Yeah. Pop it in the chat, Neil.
Yeah.
All
So what do you
right.
guys think? What do you guys think as far as baits go at Milford, like for smallmouth that time of year? Moving bait or dragging bait?
9-inch Nessie.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Who, Neil? Who do you think's going to win? You can't say
Neil
yourself.
thinks he's going to win. He's going to bet $1,000 on himself.
You know, Todd, you make fun of that Nessie, but I was at Melbourne, and I actually caught 2 of my fish on pre-fish at about 4:30 that night on a Nessie. So
I mean, I've caught some decent smallmouth on glide
Yeah.
baits before. I mean, not a lot. It's not going to be my game plan, but
no, not mine either. I threw it that next morning, and I didn't get anything like on it. But
I think when Clayton, if he's not watching it now and he does listen to this, he gets a mention on almost. If he's not on it, he gets a mention on about every podcast. So
we're hoping that live scope kind of throws him off for about a year.
yeah, it's not. He's already catching fish on it.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well,
Yeah, feel free to stay on the line too, fellas. Feel free to stay on the line after we get done.
Yeah. But I do want to say, Dakota, do you got anybody that you want to, like your, social media sponsors, anybody in particular special in your life you want to give a shout out to? Feel free.
No, I don't really do too much of the social media stuff. I mean, obviously I have it, but I don't really do any of it for my fishing stuff. But I would regret it if I didn't say, and I know he commented on the Facebook post whenever you posted my win. My grandpa's out there. He probably might be watching this. He taught me everything he knows, and he'll say now I know more than he does. But I still think he's got the advantage. He just lets me have it. So,
yeah.
But yeah. So, thanks to Grandpa.
All right, that's awesome. I'm just going to give you a tip. Since you said you have a bachelor party in a few weeks, you should probably shout out your fiance too. Just
yeah, no, she's great for letting me go. She was working. She's a nurse, so her schedule kind of allows me to have time to go do things like this and come home. And I still sometimes beat her home from stuff like that. But yeah, she's great.
And it's not too late to move your bachelor party to Milford Lake.
Yeah, that's true. My buddies could follow me around on a pontoon, I guess. Maybe break out the video.
I mean,
we'll get drunk while you're trying to catch
winning.
Yeah,
that would be pretty fun. They can film you, and then you can post it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, young man catches 0 fish. Yeah, that's what would happen up there. But
bachelor party bass, something like that.
Yeah.
Cole, what about you? Any shout outs?
Oh yeah. Well, you brought it up. I gotta give kudos to the wife for letting me still do this. I feel like I'm always on borrowed time as the kids get older, with being able to slip away and go fishing. So that is always a big help to get me out on the water. And of course, just big kudos to really the group, you guys, for putting this together. I know how much work it is. So appreciate all that you guys do to keep this stuff rolling.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Todd?
I'm gonna say you, Tony, and you, Tim, for helping out with the club this year. It's been a huge relief and weight off my shoulders and Austin's, and just made it that much easier to get things done. And I think it shows. I think we've had better attendance throughout the year, and I think it's going well.
Thank you.
Austin was going to beat me up if I didn't help.
Same.
We appreciate it. I get my fill of kind of that entrepreneurship without getting paid. So it's I got to feel like I'm running a business without actually getting paid.
Kind of like real entrepreneurship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I would say kind of like the other businesses I ran. So awesome. Ernesto, any shout outs?
Yeah, you guys for putting on these tournaments and all the work that you guys do. I haven't said that before, but I'm saying it now. It's pretty cool, honestly, and makes it exciting to go fishing on the weekends when you have a tournament. I don't know, on Monday I'm like, man, it's tournament week. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's like become a whole thing to, like, I don't know, pack my cooler and like you go fish Friday and then you camp somewhere, rough it, don't shower sometimes. Like, shout out Old Spice for deodorant, and you know what I'm talking about. You guys know.
Yeah.
And then also, like Cole said to my wife, it was She doesn't get as hype as I do about the fishing stuff, but she gets hype enough. And the week of the tournament, I was watching scrolling on TikTok, and I saw a video of like the Rocky, where Adrian's in bed, and he's like, I don't have to tango with Paulo no more. I'll go find a job or whatever. And Adrian's like, win, just win. And that was kind of how it was like it motivated me, I guess, just to have fun fishing. And I could have not caught fish, but I still would have had a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
shout out to you guys here in the podcast and everybody honestly in the club too, for making it pretty welcoming. Like,
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. So
Yeah, it's hard to find a better group of anglers, like people that, everybody is very welcoming, inviting, they help each other out.
Yeah.
Great sportsmen, everybody's out there just kind of doing the same thing. And although we all like to win, we're there for each other when other people do. So,
yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. I'm going to shout out a few of the Kansas Kayak Angler sponsors, Melbourne Lake Marina, Biz Baits, Shills, Golden Belt Customs, Kayak Cushion, Amped Outdoors, Grumpy Fish Co., and of course, us on the line. So thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate you guys coming up. Ernesto, Todd, Cole, Dakota. Tim, thanks for always being a co-host with me and getting this thing started. And make sure you tune in the next episode. If we don't want to do one before then, usually it'll be the week after the next tournament at Milford. And make sure you like the video, drop comments, even if it's not live anymore. Tim and I will still answer those. And, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the Facebook pages of, Kansas Kayak Anglers, Kanza Yak Bass League, Sunflower, Moyak, all those other surrounding ones. So anybody have any comments, any final comments, any final says? Tim, do you have anything?
No, I think I'm good.
I got one last thing for you since Mike dropped that last comment.
Yeah.
Next time if you have Matt Scuchis on here at any point, there was a night, I think we were at Perry, camping the night before.
I know the story.
And Ryan Brook were involved. Ryan Brook, Scuchis, I don't know what happened after, but it could be a great story. You might have to get it out of Matt at some point.
All right.
True story, I'm going to add to your story is that we actually stayed in Airbnb with Jay and Matt and Tim and I right down by Cedar Creek. And I'm pretty sure that was the reason he stayed at the Airbnb, because he told us that story.
Tents are no longer safe for him.
That's what he said. So he said that. Hey, Derek, thanks a lot. We appreciate you watching.
Thanks, Derek.
But so we got some of that story, and I think that's why he goes to Airbnbs now.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching again, and tight lines, everybody. And we'll see you on the next episode. And we are out.